Good morning. This is Michael Williamson, CEO, United Way of Southeast Louisiana. Good morning. This is Michael Williamson, CEO, United Way of Southeast Louisiana. I'd like to welcome all of you to our February investor call, where we're going to share a good bit of information about the work that you're doing in our community to make an impact. And as you know, we're working to address the bigger issue of poverty in our region and doing everything we can with your help and your support to ensure that less folks live in poverty throughout Southeast Louisiana. At United Way of Southeast Louisiana, you fight for the education, health, and financial stability of every person in every community that we collectively serve. I'd like to now welcome our board chair, Mr. Richard Haas, to say a few words.
Hi, Michael. I think this is the only place that I get referred to as Richard. So everybody, it's Rick, but thanks for being here. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees of United Way of Southeast Louisiana, I want to extend our thanks and appreciation for the incredible generosity, not only of time, but of money and all that you're going to hear a lot of great things on this call about what we were able to accomplish because of the generosity of you and the work that you've done. Those things range from specific program and policy, specific programmatic support, to our ability to influence policy at a state level, which helps greatly in the mission of eradicating poverty in Southeast Louisiana. I had the opportunity to visit Educare, a Kingsley House program. Kingsley House oversees and operates the Educare program, and it was such a great morning. Spent a few hours there learning about how one of our programs, one of United Way supported programs, works to intervene in the lives of children at a preschool level before they even get to first grade, doing things that'll help take them off put them on the track to living a productive and successful life. You know, I'm vice chairman of New Orleans Police and Justice Foundation, and I serve on the Metropolitan Crime Commission as well. And I see the tremendous toll that is placed on our society in terms of human and economic terms when we don't work with our citizens at the earliest possible moment and influence the trajectory of their lives. The eradication of poverty through creation of economic development opportunities. It's just such an important piece of work. And Michael, you know, I just want to thank you guys. That Educare program is incredible, and it's really part of a multi-pronged approach to early child care and early childhood development and education that because of the generosity of the people on this call, we're able to influence and change the trajectory, literally change the trajectory of their lives. So I want to just reiterate on behalf of the Board of Trustees, thank you all for being here. Thank you for the work that you do. And Michael, I'm going to turn it right back over to you. Let's get going and share some of the great things that their generosity is enabling us to be able to do.
Absolutely, Rick. And thanks again for your leadership and support. Let me start by saying that we were all many of us brought to tears and really struggled with the recent events of the shooting in Florida. I'm catching my breath. But many folks have been looking at the incident, the shooting in the school in Broward County, Florida, and wondering what are we doing in our community to address issues that lead to school violence. And so here at your United Way, with your support, we've been working with our partners at the New Orleans Public Health Department to address issues that are facing our children in our schools, specifically around trauma. So we, with your support, and in fact you, as our donors, have been funding over the past year and a half, an effort called Trauma Informed Schools, and that work is really targeting issues that are facing our children that, when they face trauma early in their early years, can lead to really, really bad outcomes down the road. And so I'm going to encourage everybody after this call, we'll share more information about this work around trauma-informed schools with the New Orleans Public Health Department. But I think it's important to note that, in New Orleans, you are actually making an impact by working in our schools to try to help our educators be more prepared to help students that face trauma early in their lives. And so I think this is just one example of a variety of things that you're doing in our community to actually make a difference. And we truly appreciate your support. And we'd like to be able to share more information at a later time, but thought it was really relevant given the recent events that we say that in New Orleans specifically, we're working to try to ensure that we do everything we can to mitigate these types of events happening in the future. And so with that, I'd like to move along to Tab Bowie, who works in our Community Impact Department, to give you an update on some work that's taking place in our Community Impact.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Tab Bowie, and I'm the Vice President of the Community Impact over Health and Funds Distribution. So today I would like to talk to you about the Blueprint for Prosperity and its grant process. So again, our Blueprint for Prosperity was launched in 2016 as a framework to eradicate poverty in Southeast Louisiana. In order to do this, we do this the 4 I strategies. So invest, inspire, inform, and initiate. This morning, I'd like to talk specifically about the invest strategy. So within this strategy, we're looking at ways on how we invest to drive the 4 outcomes around eradicating poverty in Southeast Louisiana. So through your unrestricted giving, we're able to do this by providing 2 types of grants. One is around programmatic funding, and the other around collaboration grants. So program funding is provided to community programs, providing direct services to individuals as it fits within the realm of our Blueprint for Prosperity. But what's new to this United Way is collaborative funding. This looks specifically at providing funds to groups, coalitions, and partnerships that are focusing on systems levels change. So looking at what's broken in our systems and providing collective impact solutions. To date, with your funding, we're able to fund 70 programs across 51 agencies and 7 parishes. Additionally, we are funding 7 collaborations that are looking at systems levels change, and as Michael mentioned, the trauma-informed care, but we're also focusing on ending homelessness, prisoner reentry work, and more. Programs are funding for a 3-year period, and collaborations, depending on what stage you are in development, are funded anywhere from 1 to 3 years. So again, this is all made possible through your unrestricted giving. Both program and collaborative grants do undergo vigorous reporting. So every year, reports are turned in twice in things like number of program participants, number of activities conducted, indicators and outcomes achieved, and the budget are all included in the report. Furthermore, both program and collaborative grants go annual performance review. So we look at things like the financial audits and 990s. We review reporting documents. We conduct site visits. We review agencies' campaigns, and overall how well they respond to our request. So really, we're truly holding our programs and collaboratives accountable to the dollars that have been granted to them, and in turn, we're holding ourselves accountable to the dollars that have been raised in the community. We're actually currently in the midst of performance review, and site visits is actually being scheduled to all of the programs and collaborations as we speak. We invite you to be a part of this process to see how your dollars work. And I'll also like to share some success stories from our programs and our collaboratives. In the year 2016-17, we assisted more than 270,000 individuals through our programmatic funding. One individual, we'll call him A, was provided with counseling and case management services from a funded partner agency. A witnessed his father struggle with depression and substance abuse and suffer from verbal abuse from his father as a result. A's mental health began to falter when he learned that his father had passed. So he plunged into deep depression. He lost his job and his wife considered divorce. On the brink of hunger and homelessness, he reached out to this agency that we're able to fund and that you were able to fund to ask for help. As a result, he was able to fill his medication, pay his bills, pay his rent, and now he's on the path to being stabilized and has begun to mend things with his family. So that's all made possible with your donations. In collaboratives, we are strategically investing money into 7 collaboratives again. One of them is the NOW Collaborative, the New Orleans Works Collaborative. This collaborative seeks to leverage partnerships between employers, job seekers, and academia to really build a pipeline to frontline jobs, but also quality job seekers who are looking for opportunities to better themselves and better their lives. Currently, their partnership with the Louisiana Children's Medical Center, so LCMC, is on track to train 130 individuals from the community. An additional 20 individuals will be trained as medical laboratory technologists, and recruitment has already started. So that's just some examples of the great work that's being done in community impact and programmatic funding and collaborative funding, all made possible through your generosity. And we ask you and invite you to be a part of this process as we roll out the next grant request for applications at the end of 2018.
Thanks, Tap, and thanks for sharing really good examples of how you, our donors, are actually making a difference in our communities. They're very real and very tangible examples. And now that I've caught my breath, and clearly Tap is our health expert, could give me some tips on how to get in better shape. So thanks again, Tap. Great examples. And we do invite you to participate, in this process. This process is made better by you. Now I'd like to hand it off to Charmaine Cassiope, our Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, to talk a little bit about public policy, what's going on in our public policy area. Charmaine.
Well, thank you so much, Michael, and thank you all for joining us today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share with you just how impactful your unrestricted gift is, because you truly allow this United Way, one of 12 statewide, to really engage in public policy and advocacy. And that effort is profound and incredibly impactful, because it not only allows us to take the scale of the work we're doing in community impact, it allows us to build compelling partnerships at the local, state, and federal level, which helps to leverage the return on your investment here. I'm delighted to report that our Public Policy Committee actually met on February the 6th here at United Way. The Public Policy Committee of the board had an opportunity to endorse our upcoming 2018 state legislative agenda. As I'm sure you know, our public policy agenda is committed to making sure that we fulfill our commitment to advance policy and advocacy initiatives that will build capacity for improving the lives of our ALICE population. I can assure you that we're concentrating on so many of the issues that you have heard a little bit about today. It's education, it's financial stability, it's health. And we are delighted to say that we will be taking this recommendation, which was approved unanimously on February the 5th by the Public Policy Committee of the board, to our full board of trustees for their endorsement. I'd like to say that because of your incredible investment, we were able to host this year because, as I'm sure many of you are aware, they convened in special session yesterday to deal with Louisiana's very big $1 billion fiscal cliff challenge. I can assure you that this United Way feels committed not only to our investors, but our community and our partners to help educate individuals about how it is that Louisiana got to this point and what the challenges are and what might be some of those solutions. I now want to say thank you so much for your investment, because we were able to attract at this forum subject matter experts. We had on hand Barry Irwin, who's the president and CEO of Council for a Better Louisiana, Jan Molnar, the executive director of the Louisiana Budget Project, and our very own Jim Tucker, who currently serves as the chairperson for the Committee of 100. So you can see that we brought great diversity and very different views to this discussion, but I can tell you we had close to 100 people on hand participating. So I'm confident that our community and especially our investors, our partners will be engaged in the conversation and in what's happening at the special session. As I'm sure you may know, the regular session convenes on March the 12th, and I'm delighted to tell you that we have two exciting initiatives. Because of your investment, we're going to be hosting at the Capitol Women United Day at the Capitol, which will focus on an investment in early childhood education programming and will help to advocate personally with legislators looking to expand our CTAP program, which is in fact the Child Care Assistance Program. I also want you to know that we will be hosting the Domestic Violence Prevention Day at the Capitol, and that's slated for May the 9th. I hope as investors you will monitor and stay engaged in our work at the legislature, and that you will do everything you can to actively participate in these programs that we are only able to furnish as a result of your generosity and your commitment.
Thanks, Charmaine. Great job. And once again,
Charmaine, Michael, before we get off Charmaine, I just want to say that brings up a very interesting point that, you know, there are things wrong with the systems that we deploy to change what are systemic breaks that create these challenges over time. When I see, if you could back up just one slide and put Charmaine's last slide back up on the screen. I want to just take a minute as a total donor myself. I just want to make sure that I get this into the call. So much of what we deal with is the urgent and emergent circumstances of people's lives in peril. But the long-term healing and the long-term eradication of poverty is going to come from the kind of work that Charmaine and United Way is doing to influence the policies that once in place will do great things to change the most important issues that we can possibly influence. So Charmaine, hats off. Thank you for the work you're doing. And when I hear about that list of people showing up in a room, you know you've got influence in the room and you can get a lot of stuff done. So thank you so much. And again, the message is, as a donor myself, I feel like my money is being well spent. I appreciate your words.
Well, thank you very much for those comments, Rick, but I really would like to say that I applaud the courage of our Board of Trustees and all of our donors for allowing us to engage in this work, because it is very impactful. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick, and once again, just tremendous work that's being done to really address the bigger issue of poverty in our region. We're no stranger to disasters here. We've been doing, on your behalf, a great deal of work since the floods of March in 2016, and looking forward to looking over the past year and a half. I would like to ask Janine Dahmer, our Senior Vice President for Long-Term Recovery, to give us an update.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Michael, for the introduction, and I'm happy to report on the work that we've been doing since the Great Flood of August 2016, and we're doing that work on behalf of the donors and the people that are investing in United Way. So I appreciate Rick's comments and Michael, your comments about the donor and how important they are, because without the donors, we couldn't do what we do. As everybody knows, in 2016, we had a great flood in August. Actually, we had one in March, just a few months prior. So we've been very busy. The North Shore specifically, as it relates to the floods, Tangipahoa, Washington, St. Tammany Parish, there was in the neighborhood of over 10,000 families and individuals that were affected by the flood. But the generosity poured from people not only within our own Southeast Louisiana region, but people around the country who said, I want to reach out and help do some investments. So we were so lucky because of the investments that people made through United Way. And because of that, we've been able to do some great work. So I'd like to give y'all a quick up-to-date as it looks for what we've been doing on your behalf through December 2017. So some great news. We have been able to give out grants for direct service recovery in the amount of $526,000 and some change to our partners in work. And some examples of what that looks like. That would be grants for food distribution, elderly care, school supplies for our local school system, rebuilding houses immediately and mucking, gutting those 68 houses immediately following the storm. We even invested over $100,000 in our small business recovery to help get businesses off the ground, and that was done in cooperation with Lobby. Investments of those grants were made in the 211 emergency phone services and even the development of an emergency shelter up in Washington Parish. Rick, you mentioned earlier, you made a comment about your work with Educare and visiting Kingsley House and their Educare program. I'm happy to tell you that one of the partners that we were able to make one of those direct service grants to was Educare. And what we did was identify how they could come to the North Shore and work with educators as they work with children that were affected by the floods. So as I said, over $526,000 invested in direct grants for those partners that are working. One of the great things is since 2017, we had a goal to really work during 2016 on direct rebuilds with over 80 families. I'm happy to tell you that we actually beat that goal by 7. We worked with 87 families, and we've invested to date direct dollars in rebuilding with those 87 families, over $546,000 in construction supplies, case management, direct, indirect services, and working with those families. Since we had the flood in August, we've actually coordinated and worked with over 98 different organizations, which makes it pretty phenomenal that the reach of United Way Southeast Louisiana has the capacity to reach out to that many people. We have actually also as well worked with our partners, and there has been over 2,400 volunteers that have worked on disaster recovery for the floods, and that encompasses about 22,514 hours. But the thing about that is when you look at those 2,400 volunteers and 22,000 hours, that actually gives an impact to the community of over $543,000. And that's money that if a family or an individual who had been affected by the flood would have to hire a contractor if they didn't have our volunteer labor out there. We've also worked with our partners, and we raised and distributed over 1.5 million items since the flood. The value of all the items that we've been able to give away, including those in the warehouse and those that we've worked with through December of 2017, is $1.46 million. So kind of to round all that out, with the investments that people have been able to give to United Way so that we can be boots on the ground and working and doing a recovery immediately, our total dollars invested by value is over $3 million. If you take the money we've invested in our volunteers, the monies we've invested in case services and our grants, and the money we've invested in direct rebuild. So I'm very happy to say to all the investors and those that are donating to United Way for this work, we are taking the funds that you give us and we are leveraging those through the relationships that we have in the community, and we will continue to do so. You'll continue to hear more as we work, because we do have a goal to continue working with families throughout 2018.
Thank you, Jameen. And once again, for our donors out there that have made it possible for us to help, so many families that were affected by the recent disasters. I'd like to now turn it over to Lee Thorpe, our Senior Vice President for Resource Development and Marketing, to talk about the great work that you as our donors are doing around our annual campaign and resource development efforts.
Thank you, Michael. I'm so thrilled to be telling you all today that we are exactly 6 weeks away from the close of our 2017-2018 campaign. That'll be on March 31st. We still have a lot of work to do in that area to raise the necessary dollars to support our mission of eradicating poverty, but we feel like we're on the right track. We have some exciting partnerships that we wanted to recognize on this call, just as a way to say thank you for all of the work that we're doing. We have some new campaigns that have kicked off this year that are brand new to United Way. The city of Gretna has begun an employee campaign. We're so excited to be able to talk to the employees of the city of Gretna about the work we're doing, not just in Gretna, but around our 7-parish area, and the services that are available to their employees and their family and friends, as well as the Coca-Cola Bottling Company United, with over 700 employees, has kicked off an amazing campaign and has not only raised tens of thousands of dollars for United Way, but participated in an extensive volunteer project at our Hoffman Early Learning Center that we partner with. through the Hands-On Volunteer Center. We had over 30 volunteers come out and make some significant changes in just one day. So we're so thankful to Coke, the Coca-Cola Bottling Company, for that support. And lastly, we have just kicked off a new campaign and partnership with the New Orleans Baby Cakes. We're really excited about this relationship with the Baby Cakes because the organization came to us and said that they wanted to make sure that all of the volunteers engaged with the United Way were being recognized. And so when we talk about United Way volunteers, we're not just thinking about the people going out with their companies to volunteer, which are incredible, companies like EY and Coca-Cola, Folgers, Shell, but also volunteers like our VITA volunteers, but volunteer income tax assistants, doing free tax preparation for individuals across our region, or our employee campaign coordinators, many of which are on this call right now, volunteering every day to run United Way campaigns. We also have high school students volunteering on a regular basis through our Mission Ignition program. So many different volunteer activities and ways to be engaged, and the Baby Cakes realized that they wanted to host all of our volunteers and be able to recognize them on a grander scale. So we're going to be having 2 different nights of the Baby Cake Games in April and August to recognize the thousands of volunteers that come and support United Way on a daily basis. Not to mention all of the amazing flood volunteers and long-term recovery volunteers that have been with us since 2015 and 2016 and 2017 as we continue to face some issues. So we're very appreciative of the Baby Cake support. Lastly, I wanted to announce an amazing event that we're going to be having. It's going to be March 8th, Thursday, March 8th at the Royal Finessa Hotel. It is our annual Got Gumbo Cook-Off. It's a really fun event. It's a way for us to say thank you to all of our donors with a quite cheap ticket price of $30 in advance or $35 at the door. But we encourage everyone to come out to the Royal Finessa Hotel, who the Royal Finessa is generous enough to donate this wonderful event to us so we can thank our donors. And we have more than 14 restaurants cooking up 20 different gumbos and desserts. And it's a really fun event. We've got lots of celebrity judges, and it's always a really fabulous time. It's going to be from 5:30 to 8:30 on Thursday, March 8th, and you can get your tickets at UnitedWaySELA.org. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thanks, Lee. And once again, huge shout out to our friends at the Baby Cakes, the City of Gretna, and Coke for their new campaigns and the partnerships that we're establishing there. I'm really excited about Got Gumbo and hope that you'll come out so we can show you just how much we appreciate all of you as well. This is going to wrap up our February United Way Investor Call. That we would like to thank you for making it possible. Because of your support, we're able to be here and do the great work on your behalf and in partnership with you. I'd like to remind you that after this call, you can certainly listen to this webinar again if you'd like to. We encourage you to connect with us by giving, advocating, or volunteering. Certainly visit our website at UnitedWaySELA.org. You can listen to our Live United radio show, or you can follow us on social looking for @UnitedWaySELA. Once again, we're so appreciative of your support, and we'll do everything we can with your help to eradicate poverty in Southeast Louisiana. Thank you again for joining us.